Hi and welcome back to ADK'ed Engravings. My name is Ed, your host. As I'm getting ready to wind things up before I have to go back to work in less than a month, I kind of came to the realization with everything else going on, I forgot to make a video about the workbench behind me. So I'm going to do a quick recap of it, kind of give you the dimensions. But the big thing on this is I just saw a couple pictures online and I just kind of picked the one I thought looked like what I wanted, and then I kind of made some modifications accordingly. And I'll go over those kind of modifications that I did with it and go over the what I did end up doing to it and what parameters I followed. Keep in mind, you'll need to make your own measurements and your own diagram out of this, because that's what I did. I just took the basic design and then created my own setup. And what I mean by that is you really need to set this up for you. I'm 5'10", so I set this up for my size, for my height, so that I felt it was comfortable to work on the workbench here. If you're taller, obviously you might want something a little bit higher. If you're shorter, you might want something a little lower. But use whatever you got there available to you. Make modifications accordingly. And of course, if you see something or have a recommendation on something on how I can make things better, please leave them in the comments. And I'll also go over some of the things that I don't like about what I did to this, but it is what it is, and I'm just going to keep it as is. So let's go through the quick tour of it. Okay, first off, this is two pieces. So each section is 39 inches by 72 inches by just under 37 inches tall. And that's the height including the 4-inch coasters or wheel assemblies on the bottom. Made by 2x6s around the main frame on top, 2x4s on the bottom, and these are 4x4 posts in the, on each of the legs. So what I did then was, after I made the frame, then I went and got some smooth board so that it was easy to work on and I could slide things on and use it pretty decently. And then I used particle board on the bottom shelves. On the bottom shelves, I also, they're 3/4 inches, both of those boards. On the bottom, I did put a center brace across it just to give it a little more stability. And I also did a center brace on the upper one as well. Again, just to give it stability. It's 3/4 inch, it probably would be fine. But it just made me feel a little better that that's how it was set up. The two additional things that I added to were the wheels on the bottom. This was recommended by a guy that I watched on YouTube, and he had his own little setup, but this is what he recommended. And I do like the wheels. They do very well rolling on this concrete. However, what I found was that I didn't have that issue with this, but when I took these and then tried to implement them over with my setup that I was trying to put together with my miter saw, I discovered that these wheels are not adjustable in any capacity. So if I was going to look for something in the future, that's what I would look for. And the only reason I say that is I did not have the issue here, but when I was working with my miter saw setup, which I'll do on my next video, some of the dimensions, even though everything came up squared, somehow I was having an issue with one of the legs being a little off. I still can't figure out what happened to that. Had I had some adjustable wheels, that would have solved that problem. And so that's the one thing I definitely would look for differently. The other thing that I added to this, and again, this was off that same gentleman who had his table set up, was he put these latches on. They do okay. I don't know that I'm 100% sold on them. I think there might have been a better setup I could have gone with, which would have maybe worked just as well and not as big a pain. These aren't a big pain tremendously, but to me there had to be probably another setup I could have gone with to make this easier. But the nice thing is, having this set up like this, I now can take these two sections and make them into one big table, which I really do like. Let me separate them so you can see how they go. And that's what it looks like disconnected from each other. So I can have either two separate tables or one connected table. And these latches are nothing more that when you bring them together, you just, once I get them in here together and bring them in tight, this just latches over, and then you pull back on this. And of course I can adjust this nut accordingly. I don't have them very tight, and I actually need to tighten up these screws. I didn't realize they were that loose. But again, they're just to hold the table together, so it's not that huge of a deal how tight those probably are. But anyway, I mean, that's really about it. There's not much more to this, but it is such an easy table to put together. It only took me a few hours to piece that together. The biggest delay I had is that I ran out of, or I didn't calculate right the supplies I had, and I had to wait until I went back down to the local Lowe's, which is 30 minutes away, and then get the extra material I needed and then come back and finish it up. But I am super pleased with that. I am so happy with how it ended up and how it came out. Everything's squared up nicely, and you know, I've got storage space on the other side where I can just throw some stuff there. I got loads of space up on top, and I really, really do like it. And I can move it all over the shop, which is really nice. And I really, really am enjoying that. So anyway, I think that's about it for it. If there's any comments you want to make or things you might want to think I might need to add to this, there is a vise that I have. I just got a small one from Harbor Freight just to have to hold. From there, I still have not mounted it yet. I've just got to try to figure out where the best spot is. I think it is going to go right there. And yeah, I couldn't be more pleased with how this turned out. So anyway, hope you all have a great day and a great weekend. And we will probably do another video in the next day or so to talk about my miter saw setup.